Alright, welcome to another edition of Soto Desperado Plays Ark Survival Ascended. Pretty much picked up where I left off last time. We're going to go see if we can tame any more good shit. And we have a couple of videos lined up in our list. And we'll do that. Oh, wait, Rex. Oh, it's a 24. Yeah. 24 ain't gonna do nothing. Anything else? No. Yeah, this guy, he made his little base next to me, and I gave him a bird. And now his base is disintegrating. It's locked. The bird's gone. Probably dead. Everything's locked. And his body's not here. He made a bed, so if he ever logs in, he should manifest here again. What was the name of this guy? Battleborn? Yeah, I don't know. I think we had met before, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, that animal's going to get killed off. Eventually, they'll kill it. It's just the way of the Ark, you know. Everybody went to Aberration when Aberration opened up, and they're trying to do shit over there, and I'm like, I was stuck on Aberration for a long time, and the only thing about Aberration I really liked was the whatchamacallit, those dogs that you ride. I forget what they're called, but I like them. They're really good. The Ravagers, they're called Ravagers, and they can jump. They can walk a tightrope. They can walk a line that you put lines up so you can go up and down the sides of cliffs. They actually can walk those very conveniently. So you can walk across vines that are in the same position. It's really nice. Okay. And still looking for good raptors. I'll tell you, I never find any good raptors. Yeah. Anyway, it's a blue one. Oh. Level 16, jeez. Yeah, it looks like they're in increments of 8. Another 16. God, that's so useless. There you are. Lola. Oh, that's an alpha. I thought that was a regular. It's not. It's a freaking alpha. So I gotta be careful with that. Be very careful. I don't want to get caught inside of it. Oh, it's a 32 alpha. Okay. It's worth killing. Because you can get a good XP from this. So remember, I swapped out the bird because the other bird was pretty much leveled up. So you want to level up this one. All low level. And that's with a good saddle, by the way. Wow. This guy, I'm telling you. Won't let me out of its mouth. Jesus. That's only a level 16. I should be able to kill him. Got you. There we go. Make sure I got the skull trophy and all that. There it is. That's the skull trophy. Alright, so she's halfway. That's only an 88. So what you want to do when you're trying to heal up is you want to kill and eat these corpses to heal your bird naturally. And if you can't get it, I noticed that if you drop a corpse to the ground, the damn thing may not allow you to eat it. Like right now, I can't eat it, so it's useless to me. So I have to go kill something else and eat that in order to heal up. Yeah, those guys, they take a lot out of you. And I have a good saddle on. Okay. I did. Okay, so it is healing. Now I'll eat this one. And I'll continue to heal. So little by little, my health will go up. Alright. Oh, these guys. These guys, man, they really are game changers, these guys. Yeah. Normally, you know, the animals would manifest and you just have to go pick stuff up, you know. They don't. It's not a problem usually. I thought it'd go up, but you know, it needs more. Alright, very good. Alright. Oh, it's getting cold. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start the video now that I got that out of the way. Let's see. Let's park over here. Most of the time there's nothing over here. And let's start the vids. Alright, this one's from Legion of Men. Why an alarming number of men are leaving the workforce. See, the thing is, if they leave the workforce, they're either going on federal assistance or they're doing some other skimmity scam to try to get paid, which is really what's dangerous. You know, that's why I'm lucky to have consistent employment for now. These people are not going to let me go because I don't go try to get $24, $30 an hour for this job. They won't pay it anyway because of the way the contracts are. So, anyway, let's see.
Welcome back, Tribe. Got one here from CNBC. They're catching on. It says why men are leaving the workforce. Let's find out if they get it right.
Men have been steadily dropping out of the workforce, especially men aged 25 to 54, who are often considered to be in their prime working years. As of August 2024, 13.7% of prime-age men were not working, compared to just 7.2% in 1954.
The long-term decline in labor force participation by so-called prime-age men is a tremendous worry for our society, for our economy, and probably also for our political system.
There's a surplus of prime-age workers who could be working and aren't. And that's this puzzling problem.
Why?
The unemployment rate for prime-age working men sat at 3.4% in August 2024. This number primarily includes those who are unemployed and looking for a job. But about 10.5% of men in their prime working years, or roughly 6.8 million men nationwide, are neither working nor looking for employment, compared to just 2.5% in 1954.
What's surprising is it's not a COVID phenomenon. It's not a recession phenomenon.
And for every prime-age man who is unemployed and looking for a job, there are more than 3, and some years 4, who are neither working nor looking for work.
So what's driving men out of the workforce? And if left unchecked, what impact will it have on the U.S. economy?
Studies show that more than 50% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, including those earning over $70,000 per year. It goes to show that if you're making less than 6 figures, you need to be doing something about it before it's too late. The easiest and most reliable way to get to 6 figures is to land a job in tech. And I know it sounds crazy and you're probably thinking it's hard or difficult to understand, but what if I told you there's a way to land a 6-figure role in tech in record time, even if you have 0 technical skills or prior
Let's see, get this right, please.
Nearly half of prime-age men out of the workforce cited obsolete skills, lack of education and training, poor work record, or security issues as a reason preventing them from work.
Education.
And here's the reality. Colleges have become toxic for men, especially a certain race of man. There's double standards all over the place. You're told you're a predator and you're benefiting from the patriarchy. So toxic culture exists in colleges today. They become indoctrination camps. Part 1 of the problem. Part 2 of the problem is once you graduate and navigate through this this toxic culture of colleges, you're forced into a less than advantageous position because of DEI that's kind of swept across corporate America. So even if you're the most qualified candidate, you could be at the bottom of the barrel simply because you don't fit into the quotas that they're looking to get. So there's a lot of men that are now becoming unemployed or unemployable simply because they don't fit certain criteria that the corporation is looking to woke signal to everybody about their amazing virtues and how outstanding they are in society. You're a business. You make money. Focus on making money. Hire the best people that can make the most money for you. Stop trying to virtue signal all these woke ideas, because these are the very people that will turn against you the moment they don't feel like they're being righted, because you can't woke hard enough for some of them. It's a snake that eats its own tail. And the other aspect of that is men are just waking up in general and seeing like society is tilted against them. Nobody cares about their problems. Nobody's listening to the issues they have. They're being ostracized, demonized. They're being told they're toxic and that masculinity, traditional masculinity, is toxic and they should be more like girls and more empathetic and more emotional. And none of this resonates with young men. Top down, we have culture rot that's telling young men that they don't know where their place is in the world and we can't identify what a man is. And traditional masculinity and everything we were looking up to as pillars of masculinity is somehow a negative today. So we're trying to redefine manhood and masculinity in ways where people have no definitions for them, which is causing people to become confused, young men especially, who have nothing to pull from. They're literally born into this society that doesn't have a place for them. And when they're told, or I should say when they air out their grievances, society tells them, you need to chill out. You're a man. Figure it out. You've had the power for thousands of years. You need to stop complaining because there's other marginalized groups that need more help than you, right? So your priority's at the bottom of the haystack. That's messed up.
Is a very important predictor of a prime age man's odds of being out of the labor force.
The big impacts are on the non-college educated groups on their ability to enter and stay in the labor market.
Men who are not college educated leave the workforce at higher rates than men who are. At the same time, fewer younger men have been enrolling in college over the past decade.
If you look at the geography of where the most prime age men out of the labor force are in particular, they tend to be in places that have experienced manufacturing declines. They used to graduate with a high school education and have good, stable jobs. They weren't glamorous jobs. They were,
yes. Yes, the company man. Look at that. He's on the factory assembly line making your cars. Back in the day when you had strong unions and they were getting good pay, especially factoring cost of living of those days, the American dream, where that little factory job right there on that assembly line could provide you with a house, a wife, 2 kids. She could stay at home. Your income was more than enough. That was the middle class America. That was the peak where workers had the most power. Now it's a joke. We know what corporate America is like today. They don't care about you. Turnover rate in multiple industries are absolutely insane. Any manager could tell you. People don't have any skin in the game in the corporations. You're a cog in a machine that will get rid of you whenever it's convenient for them, if it makes sense for their bottom dollar. Hell, putting in 20 years is seen as like you're a moron today. You have to switch companies, every 2 years in order to get a decent pay raise because they won't offer you anything until you leave. There's multiple stories of people just going between like 2-3 companies. They'll go work at one, jump ship to the other one, get like a 20% pay raise, do a couple years there, go back to the other company, get another 20% pay raise, and they just go back and forth between these companies. And what is a young man to do in an environment like this? You have no motivation to do better. You have no woman. You have no family. Where's the drive? All around you when you look, it's nothing but dead-end jobs or the gig economy where you have to do things like Uber delivery, shit like that. That's not a source of pride. That's not you crawling out of the hole, not a career. It's just something you're doing to get by. And they get stuck in this state of getting by, and society is getting worse, getting more expensive. Dollar doesn't have the power it used to. These factory jobs, a lot of the stuff, men that used to do these jobs, man, they're gone. And who did that? Politicians. Team Red and Team Blue. They shipped your job overseas. They lined up their pocket. Remember that when you go vote.
Automobile factories, sometimes mines, other manufacturing jobs, but they were respected, they were stable, and they could support a family. Since then, due to technology-driven growth, a little bit due to Chinese competition, you've had a lot of manufacturing firms and the places where they were located that were one-horse town become ghost lands, right?
Wages could also be a contributing factor. Median annual wages for men with a high school diploma have fallen from just over $57,600 in 1973 to $45,000 in 2023, adjusted for inflation. At the same time, wages for those with a bachelor's degree or more have increased by about $6,300 during the same period. This decline in
You see? Look how crazy these earnings look. Whether you're college educated or not, if you're not college educated, you took a massive hit. From 1970, guys, to 2020 or 2022 is where the graph ends here. Imagine the inflation of 1970s. You only gained $7,000. But how much was a house in 1970? How much was gas? How much was groceries? How much was a plane ticket somewhere to a vacation destination in Florida? Think about the power of your dollar in 1970 versus 2022. Because this adjustment for inflation isn't the full shebang that they should be adjusting for. What was college per semester cost in 1970 versus 2022? Then you'll get an idea of just how screwed young men are.
Period. This decline in earnings led to a 44% growth in the exit rate of men without a college degree from the workforce between 1980 and 2019.
I think, honestly, status plays more of a role than wages. As I said before, you had a manufacturing job. It was respected. You were part of a community, breadwinner for your family. You had organizations like unions or Rotary clubs that surrounded your job. And that's gone.
In general, men without children are also less likely to participate in the workforce compared to men with children, especially men without education or training after high school.
What we have seen is a huge rise in the proportion of prime-age men who've never been married, and a very, very significant decline in the proportion who are currently married and have kids at home. And those two trends track closely with the big changes that we've seen about male attachment in the labor force. Correlation isn't always causation, but looking at that correspondence is real important, I think.
Meanwhile, 57% of the roughly 10% of men not looking for work said their physical or mental health was the main reason for not being employed. with 55% citing a disability, serious illness, and or receiving disability benefits.
The whole question about the health and the mental health of male workforce dropouts is an extremely important and I think concerning one.
Why don't they talk to young men? I'm seeing this old dude and some woman in the narrator in this video, but why aren't they interviewing young men? I want to hear from the young men that are going through this struggle right here, especially.
Pressing proportion of the men who are out of the workforce say they're using pain medications every day.
A 2017 research paper estimates that an increase in opioid prescription between 1999 to 2015 led to about 43% of the decline in men's labor force participation rate during that period.
So then you have to ask, what sort of pain are we talking about? Are we talking about physical pain? Are we talking about metaphysical pain? There's an enormous amount of depression, mental health challenges that men in the...
No shit. Men are disconnected from society. They're demonized by society. They can't get a date to save their lives. There's no jobs. It's extremely expensive to go on dates anyways. Women have become so far the opposite of what their grandmothers were. That makes marriage untenable, makes long-term relationships untenable. They have standards that are through the roof, demands that are not based in reality, and the men that they're looking for honestly don't even exist. They're unicorns. There are no men like that in the real world. They're vying for an amalgamation of the perfect man. He's both Superman and Clark Kent, but at the same time, an alpha simp just doesn't exist in the real world. And so men are priced out of the dating market, both economically and romantically speaking. And why would these guys have any gusto, any drive to enter the labor market? They have nothing to live for. They tell you all the time in all the videos, I feel alone. I have no friends. I work a dead-end job. I don't have any drive or motivation. You know what the biggest driver for motivation and purpose for a man was? His family, his wife and kids. They took that away from every young man because you used to be getting married in your early 20s and had a kid by 25 and you're already in your factory job and you pumped out another kid probably by 30. That's all gone. People have now become cat moms and dog moms. And on the other side of the fence, men are just living their lives in a digital world playing video games, coping with that exact thing that I'm talking about. The crippling loneliness, the anxiety, the disconnect. They're searching for it. And society is not offering a real world alternative. So men will continue to indulge in adult entertainment, video games, anime, and all that stuff because that's the only way they can connect. Yet we're driving society further and further apart on all the main issues that we need to be solving. Please give me some men that are talking about their issues.
Grouping face. Some of this is a chicken and egg question. Did you drop out because you were feeling sad, or are you sad because you dropped out and you're living on the couch?
Unemployment is really terrible for people's well-being. Often people adapt to all kinds of negative shocks, losing a kid, being widowed, whatever, and eventually kind of come back. But long-term unemployment is one of the worst things in terms of that. So what you have is a kind of scarring effect. And it's worse for men because their identity is much more wrapped up in their role as a worker.
Provider.
Men's declining workforce participation can potentially lead a lack.
Provider, dude. Men feel like they have nothing to provide and protect for anymore. That's causing all the anxiety and depression you're seeing in society today.
Impact on the American economy.
It means slower growth of the economy, obviously. It means bigger wealth gaps within our society.
It certainly will have an impact on our productivity and probably already is.
The U.S. has been experiencing a severe shortage in labor, still missing 1.7 million Americans.
Severe shortage in labor. Is that why we have porous borders?
From the workforce compared to February 2020. The McKinsey Global Institute estimates that U.S. GDP could have been $296 to $442 billion higher in 2023 if the country had been able to fill its job vacancies. However, some experts suggest the impacts of men leaving or never entering the workforce could be more sector-specific.
You need young men coming in wanting to replace those people going out. And so if men have primarily been in more manual labor, more blue-skilled and skilled trades, if they're older and they're leaving in their retirement and there's not as many young men coming in, both because of declining cohort sizes, but moving in a different direction type of careers, we're going to be losing that sector of productivity.
Despite a steep rise in federal funding, the infrastructure sector hasn't been able to find enough workers, with the construction workforce shortage surpassing 500,000 in 2024.
We are a little concerned about the impact that inflation is going to have and has had on the movement of infrastructure dollars into the actual productive activity. Having a shortage of men in construction is going to raise a problem.
The trend could...
Hey, but we were told women could do everything we could do and better. We were told they were strong and independent. The feminists were shouting from the rooftops that we don't need men and they can do all our jobs and then some. What's going on here, ladies? There's high-paying gigs in the construction sector. Why aren't the women lining up for them? Don't want to get dirty, huh? Don't want to get full of cement dust? Don't want to wear your hard hat and vest? Unless you're the one walking the job as a supervisor, as management, huh? You know, you just show up there with your shiny truck and your boots, but not putting your ass up on the line day in and day out on the job site working, huh? That's what they want. They want to show up in that nice new work truck, bark some orders, and then drive away. Beautiful, beautiful. Now we have a severe shortage in construction. Severe shortage probably will start soon in all the other sectors like transportation. I mean, truckers are probably going to start retiring in the next 15, 20 years. You think men want to do that job too now? Probably not. Are women going to pick up the slack now since they make up a huge portion of the labor market? Remains to be seen, boy.
Would have a dire socio-political impact as well.
It'll get worse in ways that we would not like. I mean, I think it would lead to more premature deaths, but it will also likely lead to radicalization and polarization because this is a frustrated, left-behind group with no options.
There are problems that government can address and problems that government can't address.
So one of the first functions that beats out policy is economic growth. You have a strong economy, you're going to have increased wage structure, and it's going to bring people back into the market.
Shopify helps you sell at every stage of your business. Sell it online, take it in person, and go big, like 1 million orders big.
I hate fucking commercials. Trying to address important topics and it just...
Age men not looking for work cited insufficient pay as a reason preventing them from work. And nearly half said competitive pay, salary, compensation, and or bonuses was a very important factor when considering whether to enter or return to the workforce.
For the young, better training, skills training, some form of post-high school education, encouraging that, maybe even subsidizing that. I think part of the youth mental health crisis has to do with what's next. What's AI going to do? What am I going to do? Are there any stable jobs? I can't afford college. All those questions all come together. And so models that help them kind of give them a jump start can be really effective ways of intervening. There are actually now really promising programs in high schools which teach kids financial literacy. They teach them about equitable entrepreneurship. They teach them about how do you foster better mental health as part of the workplace. And it seems to inspire kids to go on to college, right? Because they sort of see a pathway where they didn't see it before.
29% of men out of the labor force said that training and educational programs was another important factor in considering a return to the workforce.
Having the type of commitment from the employer to train and retain and offer upward mobility for workers, I think.
They don't want to, though. Even the fucking entry-level jobs require like 3 to 5 years experience. Bro, you're entry-level. You are the experience I'm trying to get. There's so many ghost postings on LinkedIn and all these other websites, Indeed, where they're like, oh, we have so many positions we can't fill. But people have started finding out that these positions are either already filled or there's been leaks from management, the recruiters that are saying we never intended to fill these anyway. We're just trying to make it look like we're desperately in need for workers. It's such bullshit, man. We're living in such a charade.
Very important. Trying to figure out more about career pathways in the labor market and not just the education side. So how is it that someone moves from first job, next job to best job? How do we help people understand and navigate?
Nearly a quarter of working Americans said they weren't satisfied with their growth opportunities in the workplace. Compared to other OECD countries that on average spend 0.1% of their GDP on training their workers. The US spent only 0.03% of their GDP on job training in 2022.
Older age groups, it's tougher. You're probably not going to get these guys to retrain, but there are a lot of programs that have largely been pioneered in the UK, much more than here, but we're starting to pick up on them, that literally just try and reboot community activities. They get these isolated people in despair out of their houses. It can make a difference.
Social programs like disability benefits spark contentious debate.
It's very controversial. People have very strong opinions about this. While we don't know why it is happening,
here it is.
we can be pretty clear that the social welfare programs are helping and the disability programs are helping to finance this situation in a way that was never originally intended.
A 2018 analysis by the Joint Economic Committee found that 64% of prime-age men who aren't working were receiving some sort of government assistance.
So the one benefit that they rely heavily on is disability insurance. One, because they often are unable to work if they have a physical injury or high levels of addiction or whatever. But it also provides health insurance, which is huge.
Very much against the initial intentions of the founders of the program. They've ended up with a perverse situation that too often subsidizes or even incentivizes helplessness and long-term dependence.
Get off the government tee, you bum. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, loser, with your non-existent factory job we shipped out to China where you could afford the American dream, and inflation has run away so much you can't afford to buy a house even with a decent job today. Price of gas and groceries have spiked. Everything around you is unsustainable. Debt-driven economy because we got off the gold standard in the 70s with these stupid boom and bust cycles that we have to do to maintain this charade of our debt-driven 35 trillion plus bubble we're living in. Oh, oops, sorry. Yeah, it's just these bums, bro. These 10%ers. Men are starting to go out of the workforce. They're collecting benefits and just sitting on their ass. They don't want to get in the workforce and be productive little cucks in a cubicle while corporations shit all over them, or in a gig economy where they have no health insurance, nothing provided, no vacation, no sick days, and your boss is looking for any reason to write you up because they're incompetent as shit too. Management doesn't want to be there. Creates a toxic work culture where the only people that are in are the ones that are basically having sex with each other, sleeping their way to the top. Such a joke. Or some DEI woke madness going on. Yeah, please, below me. Working in America today is a fucking nightmare for a man. The corporations posting ghost jobs while claiming no one wants to work is insane. Western media clowns. Men are leaving the workforce. Interviews everybody except for said men. Young men are leaving the workforce at an alarming rate. Let's ask several completely out of touch 7-year-olds why this is happening. Great job, CNBC. Why men are leaving slavery should be the title of the video. Says this video is about young men not gainfully employed. Yet they interview women and old men. No young men were consulted here. This exemplifies the root problem. Young men and their concerns are not important whatsoever. Says don't overthink it. Want more workers? Raise pay. Want more college-educated workers? Lower the cost of college. I know, it's crazy how simple that is.
Yeah,
the juice is no longer worth the squeeze. There's a young man here. I want to work. Stop making ridiculous requirements for entry-level jobs. Start paying livable wages relative to our work area. And treat us like human beings is all we ask for. Also cover health insurance costs, dental and PTO. Since a few generations back, our parents had options. If your CEOs and stockholders can't figure it out, then have fun with your high turnover. Brad needs his 8th jet, bro. Because Tyler just bought his 10th one, and he's making him look bad. So, sorry, turnover it is. Let's get rid of this whole department. We're going to be losing that sector of productivity. This video is the wealthy lamenting that their workforces are no longer buying into the system that doesn't pay fair wages. Hear that, young men? Instead of being people with dreams and needs and so forth, you're a commodity. Yet again, described as a wallet to be picked or a resource to be harvested. And they wonder why people are walking away. Who wants to work 8 to 12 hours a day, having to endure incompetent leadership, and still come up short paying the bills? Well, there it is. Life went from working for a good life to working to barely survive, often needing help. Not a mystery. And this one says, why are these boomers giving their opinion on young men? You should interview the young men themselves instead. These boomers with $500,000 retirement account with their house paid off couldn't care less about how young men are struggling. Yeah, there's a massive disconnect. 99% of the time, these channels blast men. But the moment they stop working and the economy comes to a halt, they start asking why men aren't contributing to society. Like, please stop. Yeah, basically. Hey, you've demonized them for so long, now they're checking out of the system because you told them they were evil and that women are better anyways and that they're not needed. And you instituted all these policies that basically made it impossible for the most qualified or the hardest workers to benefit from said hard work or qualifications. So men said, you know, this is too rigged for me. I'm done. I'm out. I'm going to go my own way. Wait, that's a problem now. Shocking to absolutely nobody with half a brain. But it will continue to get worse. like I said, boys, go to where you're treated best. Go your own way, your own direction. If that means starting a business, a side hustle, overseas, whatever it is. But getting out of corporate cuck land should be your main priority. These people don't care about you. You are a commodity. You are something to be harvested. They don't care about you. Your retirement, pension, 401k, whatever, all that bullshit, it's non-existent by the time you're ready to retire. Men are smartening up to the fact, and good for them. Appreciate everybody that's been tuning in, by the way. If you've been buying shirts or private consults, it's been an honor speaking with you guys, as well as guys that are in the private community have been signing up. We got another call happening tonight and tomorrow. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. And if you haven't, check out the second channel. I post parts of those calls, see what we're doing, and join if you haven't. Welcome you aboard. Take care, everybody. See you on the next.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, this nation has gone fucked up. Jesus. You know, by now I thought I'd have 2-3 kids grown in college or even working out on their own, having their own lives. And I'd be in love with a woman and just living to be in love with her every day. You know, just living to be in love. It's a level 1. I captured a level 1 thinking it was going to transform into something else. But it doesn't work that way, apparently. A level 1 is just that. It's a level 1. Okay. All right. Oh, we're hot now. We're hot. We're cold. We're hot. We're cold. That's funny. Jesus. I don't even want to go there. So disappointed and everything. But, you know, I try not to lose my shit.
Hey, everyone.
Vinval Williams, the truth about making $100,000 after taxes. Ain't shit much nowadays. Okay, the truth about making $100,000 after taxes. That means you got to make like 30,000, 130,000 to get 100,000 or something like that. It's about, I think it's like 30%, 40%, something like that. I don't remember.
When you're in the process of becoming better in life, when you're in the process of trying to have your finances in order, which a lot of us, we have financial problems. Some type of way there is always an issue when it comes to money. Money isn't everything, but money solves your money problems. Making $100,000 after taxes. This is not about the money. It's more about the mentality. It would change your life if you have a process, if you have a structure. If you're always living below your means, some would say it doesn't matter how much money you make, you won't have as much money problems as someone who's always living at their means or above their means. You won't necessarily have to chase money because you won't have something you're trying to keep up with. You're in fear of getting behind when you're living right at your means or above your means. You always need that paycheck. You always need some type of income because you can't keep nothing as a insurance or to reinsure you that you can go a certain amount of time without working if an emergency happens. So it's not about actually making the money. It's the work involved. You can make $500,000 a year and find yourself with financial issues. If you want to be a doctor, if you want to make $1 million, if you want to make $1 billion, if you want to be rich, it all comes down to work ethic. I worked 80 hours, sometimes 90 hours to make well over $100,000 after taxes. I'm making 6 figures after taxes. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, you're making money from YouTube as well. I'm not ever talking about YouTube. I do YouTube because I like to give a good counsel, basically. I feel like it's certain things that I have to say based on my experience that will help others. That's why I don't sell courses. That's why I don't have products. It's just my videos. That's my product. I am the product. I am the business when it comes to YouTube. But other than that, my intentions on this video is, if you want more, that's great. Because if you want more, you have to become more. It's not for the sole purpose of you being greedy. To whom much is desired, much is required, right? I will work 80 hours because I want money to work for me. So after my essentials, after my necessities, I want luxuries. Whether I can afford those luxuries comes down to my structure when it comes to my finances. If I make $100,000 a year after taxes, but every time I get paid, all of my money is going to luxuries and also necessities, it's something in there I need to get rid of, which would be the luxuries. If you could drive a Honda and save a lot of money, do that instead of trying to go get a Mercedes. But do as you so please. Just understand it's a better way to make these decisions when it comes to finances. It's not about the money, it's what you do with it. It's not about how much you make, it's how much you keep. There are doctors, lawyers, scientists in the world that make a lot of money. They may not be famous, but just like the famous people, the celebrities, the athletes, they all go broke. Somebody somewhere is stressing about making $40,000, $50,000 a year before taxes. Somebody somewhere is making $30,000, $40,000 after taxes, and they're living well below their means. A lot of us may not agree with their lifestyle, but they're not worried about money. How often do we see people who've accumulated $500 million, $100 million, even $1 billion over their careers, and they're broke? Why? Because it's their spending habits. Yep. See, spending problems don't just have to be placed on the people who don't make a lot of money. Or you work a regular job, you got a spending problem. Obviously, you're going to get a lot of feedback and hate when it comes to that because people are always comparing themselves to somebody else. Oh, if I was such and such, if I was this person who made $100,000, if I could accumulate $1 million, $1 billion over the next 20 years, I would never be broke. Well, how do you think those people become broke who have accumulated $1 billion? Spending habits. Financial literacy. It doesn't matter how much money you make, you can live paycheck to paycheck. Now, making $100,000 less after taxes can change your life if you have a plan, if you have a structure, if you have a foundation. Me, I'm all about making myself wealthy for the sake of my children. I know I may not live to see $100 million, but maybe my grandchildren can. And if I have a chance to put them in that position, I'm going to do it. So, where do I stand after making well over $100,000 after taxes? 6 figures. I want more. But I want more to position myself to give my children and my grandchildren, and possibly my great-grandchildren more. But also help people in need. Is that a high-level one? I like to give. I'm the type of person, I'll donate money to a charity. I'll give 5%, 10% to a charity that I believe is of value within society.
That might actually
I'm that type of person. But I know I can't give unless I have within myself first. So I want more money to not only have a lifestyle that I want, because you only live once, at least on earth. We're not talking about what we believe based on our spirituality and everything like that. But right now, everybody that's alive, we got one shot with the present moment, the life we're living right now. I want to be able to help people. Love and caring for people is beautiful, but it don't feed empty stomachs. It doesn't help to take care of your elders when that medical bill is sky high. It's not going to cut it. So, what does? Your resources, your money. This is why no matter how much you make, it's about how much you keep. But also, once you make it, you want more because you see the possibilities. While also adding the situation that you've been in, particularly in my situation, I've seen my grandmothers not be treated well because of, let's say, health insurance. But this is when I was younger. So that put a fire in my ass that one day I'm going to make sure I have enough money to be able to take care of me, my wife, my children, and others within my family and my wife's family, because once you become of age, you can't really make money. This is why everybody needs to focus on money being put to make more money for them. Because when you become of age, you can't work anymore. We're not superheroes. We age. We don't walk around being able to do what we were doing in our 20s and 30s when we become 60 and 70 years old. Your time has come to an end as far as being able to put out that effort to yield those returns. But what doesn't get tired? Money. What can continue to work indefinitely? Money. What doesn't ask for a break? Money. Money will never leave you during your money problems. Money leaves you if you allow it to. That's based on our decisions. That's based on our structure. That's based on our spending habits. That's based on our income, but also the output. Where are we putting that money? Where are we spending that money? See, we can't blame everything outside of us when it comes to money.
A 240 round.
Most of us have to blame ourselves. What are we doing when it comes to finances?
Raptor. Awesome.
When I used to make $30,000,
I need like
I always
a bunch
wanted
of
more.
these.
But I didn't practice saving money. I didn't practice living below my means. When I was living at home with my parents, or my father, when I went off on my own and got roommates, so our bills was not so high, I still wasn't saving money. I was doing what most 20-year-olds would do. I was having fun. Now, I'm not going against that because I think the best teacher in life is experience. So if I hadn't went through that, I wouldn't have the mentality that I have now. But what I have now, I would tell 20-year-olds, have a little bit of fun, but do more of focusing on your finances for the future. Because your money can save you. People will say your money won't. It will. It has a better chance of saving you if you focus on that versus it not saving you if you just don't care. You see what I'm saying? You have to put time into focusing on what will benefit you later. Money is important. You have to focus on that as well. Your health and your wealth. Your health and your wealth is a priority. We have to practice being involved with investing. Let's spend less on clothes and shoes, and let's see if we can put that money into a brokerage account and start to buy stocks, bonds, ETFs, mutual funds, whatever it is. Put it in a high yield savings account. You have to keep more than you've been keeping, no matter the income. It took me making over $100,000 to realize it was never the money in the first place. It was always what I was doing with the money. But as a grown man with responsibilities, it's how much you keep. It's not how much you make. You can make $500,000 and you can live paycheck to paycheck. You can make $50,000 and you can save money every month. Pay off your debt. Have a savings account. Cut back on the luxuries for a little while, at least. Put yourself in a position where you give yourself some cushion. Put yourself in a position where you can put money somewhere and you can let it sit without thinking about it. Because it doesn't matter how much you make, you know you're going to always keep. That's a beautiful spot to be in. In my honest opinion, that's the best spot to be in. But you have to practice that. And it doesn't matter how much you make, you have to practice that now. So if you do go on and you're fortunate enough to make more, which you should strive for, then it'll be like clockwork. It'll be second nature. It will come easy to you. You will automatically just say, nope, I'm not going to increase my lifestyle. I'm just going to increase my income. And no matter how much I make, I'm going to always live below my means. So the people outside of you, not that they matter, but the people will see that you're elevating, but they won't be able to understand that it's because I'm making more money, but I'm living below my means. But because I'm making so much more, my means is always above what it was years ago. But you don't know that I'm making a whole lot more money than what I was years ago. That's how it should be. Nobody should really know how much you're worth. That's why I say I'm making over $100,000 after taxes. I'm not going to give you the definite amount, but it's definitely it's substantial. Me, it's plenty living in this economy. I know the economy is screwed, but once you make a certain amount of money and you have financial literacy and you're debt free, a certain amount of money can go a long way. You just have to understand how to allocate the important things that you need to spend money on versus the things that you want to basically spend money on, which are considered luxuries. And I have children, so trust me. It's all about how you do it. It's all about what you're focused on. It's all about how you handle your finances. We have to practice focusing on living below our means, saving, investing, and not looking rich. Focusing on becoming rich, not focusing on looking rich. Because everybody's perception is their reality. Somebody can see you as you're rich and you're not. Somebody can see you as you're broke and poor and you're not. But what do you know about you? What's your perception of you? But have some truth behind it. It's not always the income. It's what we're doing with our income. I hate it when that fucking head gets in the way all the time.
If I went outside my budget, I would lose my apartment within a month. If I went out and bought shit that I wanted just for the fun of it, like I was a kid again, stuff that wasn't cheap, I'd also be without an apartment. I'd be homeless. I'm trying to fight homelessness. I'm not trying to become homeless. You know what I mean? Oh, 32. Whoa. Come on. Oh, I thought it was a higher level. I guess not. Yeah, like some of these were like level 200 earlier, but they didn't have any babies. I want to see if I can get the babies. Because taming the parents is like a bitch. What is this? Yeah, you got to stay on budget. And if you can't even stay on budget, somehow you're fucked. That's what happened to my friend. He thought, well, he's going to come in and just start making money and all this. And the thing is, he didn't make any money, at least none that I really saw. Ooh, that's a good saddle. At least almost 100 points. So, nice. I'll leave that alone. Well, at least I got a 240 Raptor. That right there helps me a lot. I might just decide to take a look at the stats, and if they're not too bad, start trying to get mutations. Because I can do that with an OV Raptor. I don't need anything special. The thing is, when you crack the eggs, or you basically have to do mass breeding and then do all the eggs at once, and then look for the babies that are of notable worth. But it's just kind of hard to do that sometimes. Let's see. All right. Well, we're at 58 minutes. I think I'm going to go back to base and call this. But, yeah, guys, if you can't stay on a budget and you're off budget by, like, even just $100, you're falling in the hole $100 every month, you're fucked. You know, you fall into debt, like me and my guaranteed student loan, that's $100 a month that could be going into my pocket. It's like 119, 120, something like that, going into someone else's pocket due to interest. The whole thing was a scam. They don't owe you a job. As soon as they find out you have a degree, they get defensive and they make damn sure that you don't get that job unless you're the best candidate. And I'll never be the best candidate because I never got the experience that they wanted. I couldn't accumulate the skills because some of the software that we're training on is not just stuff in a book. You have to work with it. You have to work manually with this stuff. If you read a book on COBOL or, one of the other languages, like C++ or whatever, I don't even think they use that anymore. But, if you use those things, you have to buy a compiler that'll work with it. Some of these things are free downloadable, like the Visual C++ that you can get from Windows. It's part of the Windows operating system. So you can download a copy, But so what? You practice, you go through the book, you do all the lessons in the book, and you say, oh, I did all this, I learned this. And they're going to go, how many years of experience do you have in that? None, I just learned. I'm sorry, but we need somebody with qualifications. We need somebody that has years of experience. And the companies keep dumping people that don't have any experience unless they have somebody on the inside. And that's why they never get anybody qualified to do these jobs. Nepotism makes your friends and relatives viable. You know, they become hireable. They become qualified. And the people with the degrees who earned it, who studied, they don't get the benefit. They don't get the reward. It's been that way a very long time. And I graduated in 96. And when I went out there, it was like a ghost town. Like nobody was there. You know, everybody was taking applications. Oh, we'll keep it for 6 months. Oh, we decided to go with another candidate. 9 times out of 10, they don't tell you who they hired or why they didn't hire you. You know, they just don't go over it. They don't care. Companies are soulless and they don't care. That's why the company I work for, the only reason I'm here is because they know me and I don't fight them for wage. I don't ask for more money. Because if I ask for more money, I'll go on their shit list. And I don't want to be on somebody's shit list, especially a company that's paying my rent. This company's paying my rent. I'm not paying the rent. They're paying the rent with their money. They're just doing it indirectly through me. They're paying for, like I want to have a pizza later on because it's Friday, it's Saturday. I want to have a pizza or I want to have maybe one of those rotisserie chickens from H-E-B. So those are only like $5, thank God. And the pizza is like maybe $10, $12 depending on what you get, which is not too bad. So that's my treat for working an entire week, guys. I work the entire week, and that is the only treat that I get is one thing. I treat myself to one fucking thing a week. So 40 hours of me busting my ass, and I get one reward. Is that fair to me? Because if I go outside that boundary and I start going to movies and I start eating out all the time, $20, $30, $40 a pop. Like my friend does. My friend's single. He doesn't have any cats, so he doesn't pay for the food. He doesn't pay for all these other things. They pay him well. The Lord really blessed him. So he's doing well. And I told him, I said, instead of wasting your money eating out, you should be saving your money in case you lose your job. Because he did lose his job just a while ago. And then he got another one. And I told him, I said, you want to make sure you have as many months of rent as possible in your savings. If you have a savings or a checking, alternative checking account, you want to have that as a backup because you may not get a job for a long time. You can get temporary work, but temporary work isn't a job. It's meant to lead you into a job eventually, but some companies just use temps. They just use them into the ground mercilessly. So, it's not something, you don't want to go out there and waste your hard-earned wages. I did that when I was a kid, when I got those guaranteed student loans, and went out and I bought shit that, I bought cheap stuff. Don't get me wrong. I bought like cheap games and cheap video games. Every once in a while I would splurge because I was just up for it. I was ready for a reward. But for the most part, if it was too expensive, or it was a hobby that I wasn't going to be able to, like robotics. I wanted to get into robotics, and just for fun. And you know what? That shit is pure money, dude. Even if you go cheap, you can make a little junk bot out of junk and leftovers. But you still need the advanced electronics and the advanced programming to make that shit real. And even then, it's only going to be as good as the electronics that you can purchase. So if you can only get low-grade electronics, you're going to have a low-grade robot. You're not going to have something completely programmable and, versatile with full functionality. You're going to have something very limited. So just be aware. That's the way it is. You have to budget, especially nowadays. These people, they don't want to work a job. Well, shit, they don't care. They want their fucking rent when they want to get their fucking rent, dude. They want their fucking rent. And they're not going to stop wanting rent. They're not going to stop wanting a return on their investment. Business is king in America. Business, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, let me go and put this back. At least I got a 240. I got 216 and a 240 Raptor, and I couldn't find any good Rexes that I could get. But I think we did pretty good. Hey man, any good Raptor I can get? Let's see, what do the stats look like? That's a 240 male, health 2800, weight 296, melee 443. Hey, that melee is pretty good. 443.2. That's pretty good. How about this one? 216. Oh, it's the same melee. Oh, wow. They both had the same melee, but one's like a lot better. Okay, well, that one has better health. Okay, so in the end, what you do is after you're done accumulating all your samples, you're going to look at all the stats. I'm going to look at all these stats and see what the primal or optimal creature would look like with all the stats. And I got some for color. I was going to do color. Like there's a nice red one I liked, but I don't know if I'll bother with it. It looks kind of cool though. Yeah. I used to try to breed for color, and it just takes a lot longer to breed for color. Let's see what else we got. Not much. Everything else I just have to put away. Just want to get rid of the consumables. Put them away. What's in here? We got eggs. You don't have any eggs? Wow. Surprised you don't have any eggs. So anyway, Mind Wipe Tonic. That will let me reset all my attributes. Not sure I want to do that. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and end the video. I hope you guys, he's right. You got to stay on budget. You have to stay on budget. Like, I found out that I'm down to $100 between now and this coming Friday. It's Saturday. Okay. So I have Saturday, today, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday is when I get paid. So I have to stay alive for 7 days. And I only have about $100 at the most I can spend, plus whatever cash money I have. I've had to go out and take my change and turn my change in to get money to pay for it at HEB, because they have the Coinstar. You put all your loose coins in there and it gives you a ticket, and that's worth whatever you put in there minus a fee. I had to do that a few weeks ago just so I can eat, to pay for the food. That's how expensive it is right now. It's expensive as fuck, and it's crazy. But I'm on budget as tight as I can make it. I am considering, when I go out today, I'm going to go pick up a few knickknacks, not too much. Just things that'll supplement what I've got. I got plenty of meat, and I have to cook that meat and eat it. Everything I have, the stuff in cans. Somebody gave me some canned salmon. I'm feeding that to the cats, and I'm eating a little bit myself. You know what I mean? And I'm using up any resource here primarily. But things like milk, I run out of milk, I run out of eggs, if I could afford the eggs. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm considering going to the dollar store, and at the dollar store, there's foods there that you have to be careful what you get over there. Make sure you look at the expiration dates. I noticed they will leave old food in there. I bought a pizza, a DiGiorno pizza over there, or was it the other one? Well, anyway, I bought that pizza and it had a bunch of mold on it because it had already gotten old, and they just left it in there because they want to sell it. They don't care about right or wrong. But there's little cans of things that you can get from a dollar store that'll help supplement you that are real cheap, and that's another way you can try to de minimis. They have something over here in San Antonio called the pantry. The pantry, you go there and they give you you stand in line with a ticket and you get a bag, and it's just random stuff. It's going to be like old cans nobody wants, any kind of food that gets donated, stuff grocery stores don't want to throw out, so they give it away. It's like old bread and stuff like that. You get some bread that has a little mold. You can scrape the mold off, throw it in the fridge, or even in the freezer, and basically freeze it until you need it, and then thaw it out and then eat it. Even if it's a little crusty, you just scrape the mold off and fuck it. You can still do that. That pizza I got, normally I don't eat pizza with mold on it, but you could scrape it off and then cook it anyway and fuck it. Just eat it like that. That's what you got to do to survive. College student. Remember when you're a college student? When you're a student, you ate a lot of ramen noodles because they were cheap. You can have ramen noodles. You can throw in some veggies, like a can of veggies in there. You can throw in some slices of wiener, some hot dog wiener. I buy these sausages that are like a package of like 10 for like cheap. It's like $3, something like that. And it'll last me a whole week. You can make hot dogs with them. You can chop them up. You can make a sandwich with those things. You can do all kinds of things with just sausages, smoked sausages. I think they're called Bar S. Bar S is the brand, the smoked sausage. And you have to find cheap ways to supplement, your food. Food is what's getting us. Rent's going up here and there, but my rent hasn't gone up yet. What they're trying to do is they're doing other things with me, but in some of the areas of the country, if this rent goes up another $200 or even another $100, I'm screwed. I'm going to be out there in the street. Okay? That's how serious this is. Now, I could try to find someplace else to live here, try to find a cheaper apartment, but it's going to be hard. Okay? That's very inspirational. I just wish that I could do more. Anyway, thanks for watching. I forgot to stop the recording.